Heavy marijuana use is now linked to a formerly recognized medical condition. The World Health Organization has added cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS, to its diagnostic manual. The disorder associated with high-potency cannabis can cause severe nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain, sometimes described as scromiting, combination of screaming and vomiting from pain. Experts say the new classification will help doctors identify and treat cases, but some physicians argue the label overstates the problem and could fuel anti-cannabis narratives. Medical marijuana expert Dr. Peter Grinspoon commented on X 2 years ago when the same scromiting story surfaced, questioning whether those behind the warning understand cannabis and medical marijuana well enough to avoid reefer madness alarmism. Experts say discussions about cannabis-related health concerns should be balanced, not sensational.
A watch on that. Adam Kruger, how about the weather there? And you're also talking about changing weather conditions.
Yeah, I mean, we've got more of these cold nights and nice days ahead. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to start talking a little more about the king tides, which again will impact the entire coastline. We'll have to watch for minor tidal flooding during the morning hours the next few days. Rip currents and elevated surf also a concern. And just to put some numbers on this, and I'll choose Santa Monica, but the numbers aren't going to vary a whole lot up and down the coast. So Matthew was talking about that high tide, 823 Seal Beach, 826 in Santa Monica tomorrow morning, and relative to mean sea level, 7.3 above that for high tide, and then 1.7 feet below by the afternoon. That's a 9-foot swing tomorrow for the high to low tide to Santa Monica. And then Saturday, you can see it's a pretty large swing, but not as large as what we'll see Friday, because today and tomorrow is the peak of this king tide event, which again is the highest high tides of the year, but also the lowest low tides of the year. It's actually kind of cool to go out there when it's at peak low tide and see how far out you can walk when otherwise you normally wouldn't be able to do that. Now temperatures, another big part of our weather story. So after a high of 71 today for LA, it's 52. It's dropped a lot. We've got a lot of 50s on the map right now. Here's a closer view around the greater LA area. And again, most temperatures currently in the 50s, but 40s are right around the corner. And as we continue later into the night, we will drop down into the 40s. This could be borderline one of the coldest nights since springtime. Notice all the 40s on the map, mid 40s for LA, maybe a little closer to 50 along the coast. You get into the valleys, the Inland Empire, we've got low 40s, and it's not out of the question we'll see a few upper 30s in a couple spots as well. Then for tomorrow, though, we go from that cold start in the morning to very pleasant once again, sunshine in the afternoon, and many areas will top out around 70 or slightly above, at least for inland areas closer to the coast, more like upper 60s for tomorrow. And finally for the weekend, it's more very nice weather, but notice the temperatures going up a little bit Sunday. That's the beginning of our next big warm-up. Next week, we got 80s on the way. We'll have those details coming up a little later. But for now, back to you.
Thank you. Check this out. The Sphere in Las Vegas. Adam, you'll love this here. Getting into the super moon mood. They've turned the Sphere into a giant super moon. How cool is that, right? The Sphere team says they used NASA data to build a true to science moon, lighting up the Vegas skyline in that spectacular way. Wow.